The deeper we explore our world, the stranger it gets. Places where nature breaks its own rules, landscapes that feel designed instead of formed, and mysteries science still can't explain. And now, on the list is Alaska, with a phenomenon so bizarre, it will leave you shocked. While exploring Alaska's frozen mountain range, a group of adventurers came across a dark tunnel tucked beside a frozen lake. On the other side, everything changed. Snow gave way to thick green trees, and a strange, massive shape lingered in the sky above. It looked and felt like a different world entirely. Was this just a hidden valley, or had they stepped through something closer to a time portal? Snow sparks.
Anybody know what's going on out the ground lately?
In the US, even snow can catch us off guard. A man pressed his foot into fresh snow, and suddenly, a spark flashed from beneath the white layer. Viewers are still debating what caused it. Some think hidden gases trapped inside the snow created the spark. But what's your take? Sky wings. The sky over Qatar left people absolutely stunned. Out of nowhere, brilliant streaks of pink and purple stretched across the night like massive wings, opening above the city. For a moment, it looked too unreal to trust. Yet the footage proves every second of it happened, leaving viewers everywhere caught between disbelief and pure awe. Lost River. In 2020, something happened in India's Thar Desert that no one expected. A river reappeared after being gone for over 170,000 years. Flowing quietly through the sand dunes, it left scientists stunned. Was this a natural rebirth, or could it reveal long-buried secrets about ancient life hidden beneath the desert? Hidden Surge.
Incredible video out of Yellowstone National Park tonight. This shows a thermal feature exploding. This video was shot by visitor Vlada March. And you can see people running for cover. You can hear them yelling as the debris rains down on the boardwalk. Park rangers say this happened around 10 o'clock this morning.
On May 31st, 2025, visitors at Yellowstone's Biscuit Basin were startled when Black Diamond Pool suddenly burst upward, sending water high into the air. A tourist caught the whole moment on camera. What made it more unsettling was the timing. Just a year earlier, the same pool had forced safety upgrades after a larger outburst. Scientists say it happens when trapped water flashes into steam, but repeated surges here raise an uneasy question. Is the basin becoming more unstable? Reverse fall. What if I told you guys, there's a waterfall in Nanagat, India, that seems to break every rule of nature? Yep, instead of plunging down, the water is swept upward, carried back into the sky by powerful winds. From a distance, it looks like gravity has flipped, turning the fall into a fountain in reverse. Scientists explain it as strong updrafts. But for anyone watching, it feels more like nature showing a secret we're not meant to fully understand. Ocean edge. At first glance, it's just a peaceful boat ride, but then the water ahead seems to stop, dropping straight down like the sea has been sliced open. Two people sit quietly on the edge, staring into what looks like endless nothingness. It's a view that leaves you questioning what's real. Split weather. A bridge in the middle of nowhere shows a scene that feels impossible. On one side, heavy snow falls, covering everything in white. But step to the other side, and it's completely clear. Not a single flake in sight. It's like nature drew a sharp line, dividing winter from nothing at all. The sudden split looks almost unreal, as if some invisible force is controlling the weather right before your eyes. Sand snow. A man in northern Saudi Arabia dug through a thin layer of sand, and his shovel hit something frozen. Beneath the orange dunes was a bed of snow, pure, white, and solid. He scooped it up, letting granules fall through his fingers, the contrast between heat and cold startling. Such snow in the desert is rare, and many think it's caused by unexpected storms or sudden shifts in weather. Scientists are still trying to explain how snow and sand came together like this. Ocean drop.
No, seriously, what is this place?
Off the southwest coast of Mauritius, the sea appears to drop straight into the depths. From above, you can see streaks of dark blue stretching downward, almost like a giant waterfall hidden beneath the waves. The swirling patterns make it look as if the ocean is collapsing into itself, but the truth comes later. This breathtaking scene is actually an illusion, created by sand and silt pulled by strong underwater currents. Melting truth.
The methane then heats the atmosphere, contributing to global warming, which then causes more permafrost to melt and more methane to be produced, and it's sort of this vicious feedback cycle. We think of this permafrost here like as a time bomb.
Okay guys, seems like we've just uncovered the secret behind that fiery snow. It's methane. And this discovery leads us to something even bigger. Beneath the frozen ground, known as permafrost, massive amounts of this gas are quietly trapped. When the ice melts or cracks, methane escapes, sometimes even sparking like fire in snow. Scientists studying frozen lakes have found bubbles of it sealed in the ice, proof that the ground itself may be holding more surprises than we realize.
When you poke a hole into those pillows of methane, you get this stream of gas that comes out, and depending on the size of your hole, you can get a very large stream of gas. So when you light that, you get a very large flame, and you have to be careful because sometimes you can singe your eyebrows.
Sky beam. A group of neighbors couldn't believe their eyes when they filmed a strange, smoky beam rising straight from a house into the sky. It wasn't a chimney puff or some harmless mist. This looked deliberate, almost like something was arriving or leaving through a portal. Phones came out, people whispered, and the street went silent. Later, experts said it was likely a rare weather effect mixing warm air and moisture, but in that moment, it felt otherworldly. Desert charge. In China's Kumtag Desert, a group of tourists captured something that left them unsettled. As they climbed a sand mound, their hair suddenly lifted into the air as if pulled by invisible hands. At the same time, a strange buzzing sound filled the space around them. Scientists say it happens when strong electric charges build in the clouds above. But standing there in that vast emptiness, the moment felt more mystical than scientific. Tree smoke. After a fresh snowfall, a man wandering through the forest noticed something impossible, a tree releasing thin streams of smoke. There was no fire, no burnt wood, not even the smell of heat. Just pale wisps rising quietly from cracks in the trunk and disappearing into the cold air. Viewers who saw the footage were left uneasy. Was this a natural reaction, or something science still can't fully explain? Vanishing ring.
What is that? I don't know, man.
One quiet evening, a man walked into his backyard and stopped cold. Hanging in the air was a perfect glowing ring, bright and silent, like something out of a video game. The air felt charged, almost humming, as if it was alive. Unsure what it was, he pulled out his phone and started filming. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, the ring flickered once and vanished, leaving nothing but questions in the night. Edge world.
The entire planet ends here, and we're just driving along the edge.
This next clip has people talking. It shows researchers driving across Antarctica, right to what looks like the very edge of the Earth. Towering ice walls stretch endlessly, standing like guardians of a forbidden border. From above, it feels less like a continent and more like the map's final line, the place we were never meant to see. Whether it's just natural formations or something hidden beyond those frozen walls, one thing's certain: this edge feels more like a boundary than a landscape.
Whoa, it doesn't even feel real. The stars are so much bigger from here.
Oil River. After the river of fish, now the Arabian desert gives us another shock. Travelers moving across the dunes stumbled on something no one expected, a whole river of crude oil running through the sand. It looked unreal, like the desert itself was bleeding black gold. No one knew if it was a natural leak or something man-made, but the video spread fast, reminding everyone why this land is called the heart of oil wealth. Bottomless spring.
À l'origine de cette source, puisque les plongeurs qui sont restés au fond n'ont jamais ramené les éléments d'information pour pouvoir savoir ce qu'il y avait au-delà.
In the center of Tonnerre, France, there's a spring that has baffled people for centuries. It looks like a calm pool framed by stone at first, but beneath the surface, the water sinks into endless darkness. No one has ever mapped its full depth. Ropes break, divers vanish, and the mystery only grows. Some call it a gateway to underground rivers. Others believe it guards secrets long forgotten. Either way, the Fosse Dion refuses to give up answers. Flat-topped mystery. On the border of Venezuela, Guyana, and Brazil stands Mount Roraima, a mountain that looks like it belongs in another world. Its sides rise like towering walls, and at the top, a perfectly flat plateau stretching into the clouds. This strange formation is nearly 2 billion years old, and so unique it inspired the Lost World. Because it's completely cut off from the jungle below, the summit holds plants and creatures found nowhere else. A real-life island in the sky, shrouded in mystery. Crystal surprise. On a frozen lake, nature revealed something that looked almost too perfect to be natural. Along the shore, where grasses stood in the water, ice didn't form in sheets like usual. Instead, tiny circles clung to each blade, creating little glass-like rings. As the wind brushed across the lake, these icy rings began to spin and drift, moving together as if the water beneath was guiding their rhythm. Scientists call it simple freezing, but watching it feels extraordinary. Sandfall. Back in 2021, footage from Saudi Arabia showed a scene that seemed impossible at first glance. Instead of water tumbling down cliffs, waves of sand appeared to pour like a waterfall. The truth is, it's a mix of water and sand carving through an ancient canyon. When hidden streams return, they drag loose sand with them, creating this rare and mesmerizing sight. Watching it feels like nature is rewriting its own rules. Glowy shore. A man walked along a quiet beach in the Maldives when suddenly the sand beneath his feet started glowing. Each step left a trail of shimmering blue light, stretching across the shore like something out of a dream. For a moment, it felt magical and impossible to believe. But the secret behind this breathtaking glow wasn't magic. It was bioluminescent plankton, millions of tiny organisms lighting up the shoreline in nature's stunning display. Fish River. While crossing a remote desert, a group of travelers noticed a strange movement on the sand. As they got closer, they realized it wasn't just light or heat. It was fish, swimming as if a river had appeared out of nowhere. The desert had become a living stream, flowing with life, where none should exist. Everyone stood in awe, unable to explain what they were witnessing, completely caught between disbelief and wonder. Star Cave. Guys, do you know in New Zealand's North Island, there lies a cave that feels more like outer space than underground? Yep, the walls and ceiling glow with thousands of tiny blue lights, making the whole place look like a silent galaxy. But here's the twist. It isn't stars at all. Those lights belong to glowworms, using their glow to trap insects in sticky threads. What draws people in as beauty is really nature's hidden trap, a breathtaking mix of wonder and survival. Hell well. In Yemen's Al Mahra Desert lies a massive pit locals call the Well of Hell. For centuries, people believed evil spirits lived inside, warning others to stay away. In 2021, a team of cavers finally descended and discovered snakes, animal remains, and rare cave pearls scattered in the depths. But strange winds and eerie shadows reported over the years remain unexplained. Was it just legend, or does the desert still hide something darker? Floating rocks. This next clip shows something hard to believe. Rocks hanging in the air. They don't fall, don't move, just sit there weightless, like gravity skipped over them. One even drifts slowly in a circle, almost like it's riding on nothing. No strings, no clear trick, just solid rock floating. Is it a camera illusion, or something science hasn't figured out yet? Vanishing Falls.
The Devil's Kettle Falls at Judge C.R. Magny State Park have stumped tourists and scientists for decades. That's because one side of the split waterfall simply vanishes into rock with no apparent outlet.
In Minnesota's Judge C.R. Magny State Park, there's a waterfall that seems to break every rule of nature. Known as Devil's Kettle, the Brule River splits in two. One side keeps flowing, but the other disappears into a dark hole. Scientists tried tracing it with dye, logs, even ping pong balls, yet nothing came back. Some suspect hidden caves. Others think it dives deep underground. Legends blame the devil. But to this day, no one knows where that water goes.
It's a big hole, black hole.
There's still no real confirmation as to where the water goes once it goes in.
Taos Hum. In Taos, New Mexico, a strange low sound has troubled people for decades. Locals describe it as a steady hum. Sometimes felt more than heard, rattling walls, echoing in chests, and wearing down nerves over time. Some say it brings sleepless nights and constant headaches, yet not everyone can hear it. Scientists have tested theories from hidden machinery to underground vibrations, but nothing fits. To this day, the mysterious Taos hum has no clear explanation. Shimmering Void. In Alaska, a man ran into something that made no sense at all. Right in the middle of the empty land, a glowing shape just floated there. No edges, no real form, only a strange shimmer hanging in the air. The longer he stared, the more uneasy it seemed, almost like the place around it was charged up. Finally, he turned and walked away, leaving the mystery right where it was. Choco Mystery.
These are the famous chocolate hills. It was quite hike up here, but the views are 100% worth it. And you might be asking, why are they green if it's called the chocolate hills? Well, during the dry season, they get brown.
In Bohol, Philippines, there's a landscape that almost feels unreal. Stretching as far as the eye can see are hundreds of hills, each shaped so perfectly alike that they look carefully placed by hand. During the wet season, they're covered in green, but once the sun dries the grass, they turn a deep brown, resembling giant chocolate mounds. Scientists debate whether they came from ancient seas or volcanic forces, yet no single answer explains their flawless design.
Some of the hills are small, they have around 30 meters, and some of the hills are high, as of 120 meters. And it's quite a touristy place, but definitely worth the hype.
Stone Mystery.
Produce a television show called Finding Lost Civilizations. The purpose is that show is to visit ancient sites that time has long forgotten. My curiosity about the Plain of Jars actually goes back to probably the 1960s. I remember reading the book and it mentioned the Plain of Jars. It was always something in the back of my mind that I would like to go visit, and eventually I did.
An explorer once stepped into a field in Laos and froze at the sight, giant stone jars stretching as far as he could see. Some were taller than him, others weighed more than trucks, carved perfectly from solid rock. No carvings, no clues, just silence. Were they graves, ancient storage, or something stranger? Local stories whispered about giants brewing rice wine. Standing there, the explorer realized the mystery was bigger than anything he could explain.
When I arrived there was a path that I followed, and it took me to the top of the hill. From the top of that hill, I could see many of these megalithic jars. It was really almost a spiritual feeling.
Forest sphere. A tourist wandering through the Russian woods suddenly stopped in his tracks. Right there, hidden among the trees, stood a massive ball-shaped object. He circled it, checking every angle, but nothing gave away its origin. The surface was smooth, silent, and strange. For a moment, the forest felt unreal, and he couldn't shake the thought. Whatever this was, it wasn't ordinary. Trail marker.
I don't see where it came from.
A couple was out jogging in the Oregon woods when they froze at a bizarre sight. A huge tree trunk planted upright in the middle of the trail, like someone jammed it there on purpose. Around it, branches were broken and the ground was marked up, but the nearby trees looked untouched. No storm, no accident explained it. Some locals say Bigfoot leaves signs like this.
I'm not saying anybody's wrong. Bigfoot? Maybe?
And honestly, that theory doesn't sound too crazy here.
I don't want somebody's lame-ass reasoning for this because there honestly isn't one.
Divine clouds.
Yeah, you can see them, can't you?
Look at that!
Yeah.
In California, people looking up at the sky couldn't believe what they saw. The clouds had gathered into a shape that looked uncannily like Jesus, arms stretched wide, almost as if reaching out. Some pulled out phones, others just stood frozen, staring at the sky. It wasn't a painting or trick of light, just a natural formation that left the crowd speechless.
Praise you, Jesus!
Silent visitor. In Alaska, a man noticed a strange craft hovering above. Curiosity got the better of him, so he followed as it drifted low and paused just above the trees. Then something unexpected happened. An egg-shaped object slipped out, floating in the air on its own. Before he could react, it pulled back inside, and the craft vanished into the sky within seconds. Was it real, or something beyond our understanding? Vanishing pelican. On a quiet Florida shoreline, a pelican stood still, nothing out of the ordinary, until its body started fading in plain sight. Parts of its wings seemed to blur away, like the bird was caught between two worlds. The camera kept rolling, but the scene only grew stranger, as if nature itself glitched for a moment. No tricks, no clear explanation, just one eerie clip that left people wondering what they had really witnessed. Desert divide. In Saudi Arabia, a massive rock stands completely still, yet it's unlike anything you'd expect. A perfectly straight line splits it in two, and somehow it balances on a tiny base, holding for centuries. No natural explanation seems to fit. People a trick of nature, or maybe something ancient humans left behind. Either way, seeing it in person leaves you questioning what's really possible in this vast desert. Alaska beast. Guys, imagine hiking in Alaska and seeing something that shouldn't exist. Deep in the woods, a hiker noticed strange movement in the bushes. Zooming in, he glimpsed a massive shadowy figure, looking almost like a gorilla. But Alaska has no gorillas. Stunned, he watched as it disappeared. Scientists are baffled, and no one can explain what was hiding in the forest, making this one of Alaska's strangest mysteries. Webb lawn.
It's an interesting phenomenon which sort of happens this time of year. Can you just see on the grass all those little silvery lines?
Ever imagined your whole yard turning into a ghostly web overnight? That's exactly what happened in Poland. Every blade of grass was covered in silvery spider silk, creating a surreal, almost magical scene. Scientists say certain spiders can make sheet webs like this, but the scale here left everyone stunned. It's rare, eerie, and completely unexplained. A mysterious display of nature at its strangest.
They're actually individual threads from a spider.
Sky circle. A Up in a doorless helicopter over Hawaii, photographer Don Delson spotted something unbelievable, a rainbow forming a full circle around him. From 2,000 feet up, he captured a perfect 360-degree ring of colors. On the ground, we usually see rainbows as arcs, but from above, nothing blocks the view. Sunlight hits every raindrop just right, bending and reflecting to create this stunning, complete circle in the sky. Falling star. In Canada, a couple returned from walking their dogs when something unusual caught their eye. Their Ring camera had captured a bright streak of light slicing across the sky, and seconds later, a faint thud landed outside their home. On the lawn, a star-shaped mark hinted at what had just hit Earth. For the first time, the sound of a meteorite striking was recorded on a home camera, leaving them stunned and amazed. Ice storm. In April 2024, a farmer in China's Bijie region suddenly saw the sky unleash something terrifying. Huge blocks of ice started slamming into the ground, leaving dents across his field. At first, it looked impossible, almost like rocks falling from above. But they were massive hailstones, shaped inside storm clouds before crashing down with brutal force. The rare event was caught on camera, showing just how unpredictable and dangerous weather can really be. Breathing pond. A guy came across a pond that instantly felt strange. Instead of staying still, the water rose and fell, almost like it was breathing. Scientists once tried to study it, pointing to hidden underground chambers or maybe some natural pulse. But their instruments failed, and they walked away without answers. Locals believe the pond matches your breath if you stay too long. Sinking with you until leaving feels harder than you'd expect. Living spark. Check this out. At first glance, it looks almost magical. Tiny droplets glimmering as they escape from a plant, floating upward like sparks in water. But guys, this isn't fantasy at all. It's actually science happening in real time. What you're seeing is photosynthesis, with the plant releasing oxygen as bubbles. Under strong light, the process speeds up, and suddenly nature reveals its hidden work, turning sunlight into energy and quietly filling the water with breath. Water tree. While moving through the quiet forest, a group of hikers stopped in their tracks. A tree in front of them wasn't just standing tall, it was leaking water from its trunk. None of them had ever seen anything like it. They gathered closer, watching as droplets slipped out like the tree was hiding a spring inside. Some reached out to feel it, others just stared, realizing they had stumbled onto one of nature's strangest surprises. Snowcraft. Now this encounter in Alaska really turned heads. A group of hikers, deep in the snowy mountains, spotted something strange resting on a ridge. At first, it blended perfectly with the ice, until the white disk suddenly lifted off the ground. Snow slid down its sides, leaving a visible trail as it shifted through the air. The hikers kept rolling, stunned by what they'd just witnessed, an object no one has been able to explain. Pyramid truth. For centuries, people have suspected the pyramids hold more than stone and history. That theory got a boost when advanced scans revealed massive hidden chambers inside the Great Pyramid, spaces untouched for thousands of years. Some believe these voids were built to guard sacred relics, while others lean towards something far stranger, signs of alien engineering. Whether ancient ritual sites or evidence of visitors from beyond, one thing's certain, the deeper we look, the more mysterious the pyramids become. Tiny city.
Contexto arqueológico conocido o similar como este.
For years, villagers in Peru told stories of little guardians living in the mountains. Most brushed them off as folklore. But then, explorers uncovered ruins with doors, windows, and tools far too small for humans. Hidden high in Huánuco, this ancient city seems built for a civilization of tiny beings. Carbon dating places it thousands of years old, raising questions no one can answer. Were these the so-called Gentiles locals spoke of, or something even stranger? Stone spheres.
I'm Mike with the Wandering Wolf, and these are the Dequeef spheres.
Tucked deep in Costa Rica's jungles sit hundreds of massive stone spheres, so perfectly round they look machine-made. Some weigh over 15 tons, yet they were shaped thousands of years ago with tools far less advanced than ours. Scattered in fields, clusters, and lone spots, their purpose is still unknown. Were they markers, ritual objects, or signs of a lost knowledge we can't explain? Standing before them, you can't help but wonder who created them and why.
There's a lot of cool different theories around how these stones were made and their purposes. Another one is that it came from Atlantis. Another is that they're natural, that nature formed them somehow.
Moving rocks.
And it's just one of these sort of geological mysteries that, like, everybody knows about, but we don't know about it.
In California's Death Valley, giant stones weighing hundreds of pounds appear to glide across the desert floor, leaving long tracks behind them. For years, nobody saw them move, just the evidence they had. The mystery baffled scientists until time-lapse cameras revealed the truth. On rare winter nights, thin sheets of ice form beneath the rocks. As the sun melts the ice, light winds push the stones slowly forward, carving trails that look almost supernatural. Nature solved its own riddle. Space rock. Out in Namibia, there's a massive meteorite sitting quietly on the ground. It's called the Hoba meteorite, and at 60 tons, it's the largest ever discovered on Earth. Here's the part that puzzles scientists. There's no crater, no sign of impact. It didn't bury itself, it just landed and stayed. Some think its shape slowed it down, but no one's certain. For decades, it's remained a silent reminder that not everything falling from space follows the rules. Firefall.
Quite simply, folks, it's one of the most inspiring and breathtaking waterfalls you'll ever see. And it's only 5 miles from where the Buffalo Bills play at New Era Field. This is the Eternal Flame Falls.
Some explorers hiking near Buffalo, New York, stumbled on a sight that left them stunned. A waterfall glowing with fire. Water poured down as usual, but behind it, a small flame flickered, burning steady. It looked impossible, like two forces of nature colliding in the same spot.
You can actually smell the natural gas.
For years, people thought it was some kind of trick. The truth is simpler, but no less fascinating. Methane gas leaking from underground keeps that flame alive, even as the water crashes over it. Crooked pines. When explorers first walked into Poland's Crooked Forest, they stopped in their tracks. Hundreds of pine trees, all bending at the base like someone pressed them sideways, then curving back up toward the sky. Surprisingly, nearly every tree points the same way. For decades, people have argued over what caused it: freak weather, unusual soil, or maybe human design for ship timber. But the real answer? Still a mystery, standing quietly in the grove. Door to nowhere. Now imagine hiking deep in the woods and coming face to face with a massive wooden door, standing all alone. No walls, no house, just the door. It looked eerily out of place, almost like a portal waiting to be opened. The hiker who found it couldn't shake the thought, what if stepping through led somewhere else entirely? Another forest, another world, or maybe nowhere at all. Faced with the unknown, the real question becomes, would you walk through?